Ooh, how's it going, everybody? Welcome into the Sactown Sports Kings recap as we light the beam. There we go. It's been a while since we've done that on this stream. Welcome into the post game live stream after the Sacramento Kings get a pretty, I guess, boring win against the Brooklyn Nets. I'm not gonna lie, the Kings did play poorly enough for a little stretch in this game where they left a window of opportunity for Brooklyn to come back and break through the Kings' 20-point lead, like we've seen a couple times already this season. Fortunately for Sacramento, Brooklyn's just not very good, and they did not have the weapons, they did not have the facilities to take advantage of the Kings' poor play. In that third quarter, they went 5 straight minutes without making a point. I think they missed 10 straight field goals, the Kings did, and I think the lead only got as small as 15. So thankfully, the Kings found themselves against a pretty inferior opponent tonight, or else things might have not gone their way. But ultimately, a major positive night as the Kings get the blowout victory over the Brooklyn Nets in Brooklyn. They have one more game left on their road trip, and it's going to be a tough one against the Oklahoma City Thunder. As I'm currently, to peel back the curtain here, I am watching the Oklahoma City Blue take on the Stockton Kings right now in the G League playoffs, with the trip to the G League championship on the line. But the Kings will be playing OKC on Tuesday, I believe that'll be, for a pretty big spot. I'm seeing OKC barely beat the Hornets today, so I believe they will now be a half game back of the first seed. They're a full game back of the first seed, so they're still fighting for positioning atop the Western Conference. So they're going to be playing all their guys. It's not going to be like the Boston Celtics situation the other day. The Kings will be facing a fully stocked Oklahoma City team, which will be really interesting. I know Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Jalen Williams have both missed some time here recently, but if I'm not mistaken, both will be back by then, as I check real quick to see if they played today. Actually, neither of them played today, so maybe there is a Shai and Jalen Williams will still be out on Tuesday. But we'll just have to see about that. We've seen so far this year that hasn't really ultimately mattered when the Kings have played. So I guess we really shouldn't pay too much attention to that. The Kings are going to have to win pretty much the rest of their games the rest of the season if they want to have a chance at securing a playoff spot, which is still not out of reach. With the win today and with New Orleans getting a win over Phoenix earlier today, the Kings are only one game back of that number 6 spot, and they still, after playing OKC, have a game against New Orleans and then have another game against Phoenix. So if they win out the rest of this season, there's a really good chance that the Kings can finish in that 6th seed. So I know it's felt crazy at the end of this year. I know if you look at the standings, even yesterday, if you looked at the standings, things looked really bleak. The Kings were in the 9 seed going into tonight's game. The Lakers have officially caught up, and so now it is really must-win territory for the Kings, because every single game you lose, you put yourself at risk at falling further and further down the standings. And at this point, with 5 games left that they have to, is it 4 games left that they have to play this week? Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. They have 4 games left on the schedule. There is no time to be dropping any of these, especially against the opponents that they play. So this is going to be an incredibly exciting week for Kings basketball. I know Tuesday is a massive day in the NBA schedule. Not only do the Kings play OKC on Tuesday, the Los Angeles Lakers will be playing the Minnesota Timberwolves. I'm sorry, the Lakers are playing the Golden State Warriors. The Suns are playing the Clippers, and there was another big game that had playoff implications. Dallas is playing Charlotte. That's not big. Thought there was another one. But I mean, there's like 3 games right there that have major implications on the playoffs. So it's going to be a huge week. It is going to. It cannot be understated. how big of a week this is, and obviously it being the last week of the regular season. Again, the Kings really cannot afford to lose any of these, and it's good to see that Malik's injury and obviously Kevin Huerter going out for the entirety of the season hasn't completely killed this team spiritually. You still see them fighting, and ultimately, yeah, tonight wasn't the prettiest night, but the fact that they held the Brooklyn Nets to their lowest scoring total of the season, and that's the fewest points that the Kings have allowed to an opponent this season. I think that's a major, major step in the right direction. As again, we've talked about this team taking a big step defensively post All-Star break. This is yet another great example of how this team has definitely changed over the past month and a half. Really, there's only a handful of games in which they've allowed opponents to score over 115 points. So. Definitely at least like to see that continue. And then, yeah, just a huge game on Tuesday, their final road game of the season, coming against the Oklahoma City Thunder. That'll be a very, very interesting one. We've seen the Kings pretty much dominate that matchup all season long. They won one of those games without De'Aaron Fox early in the season. Keon Ellis started that game. So the Kings have shown the ability of just going all hands on deck, and Domantas Sabonis kills Chet Holmgren in that one-on-one matchup. There's not really much that Chet can do with the physicality that Sabonis brings. So I really like the Kings' chances on Tuesday, even though it's going to be in OKC, even though OKC is playing for a lot. I do think that the Kings have just enough to make it through that game. We'll have to see about New Orleans. We're really going to have to take this thing one game at a time. New Orleans looked really good today. I was tuning in and out of that game as the Kings game was kind of just getting started. And Zion looks great. Zion, it looks like he is not injured at all. He's attacking the rim relentlessly. CJ McCollum had a big night tonight. So that's definitely going to be a tough game, as we know the Kings have gone 0-4 this season against the Pelicans. So that'll be an interesting one, and I think that one's on Thursday. So definitely going to be looking forward to that one, as that could definitely come down to being the biggest, most important game ultimately of this season after those two Mavericks games didn't go the Kings' way. I'm looking at it right here too. Like I said, I'm watching this Stockton Kings Oklahoma City Blue game on the side. The Stockton Kings are down at halftime after being up pretty big at the end of the first quarter. Stockton is down 58. Wow, they allowed 42 points to OKC in that second quarter, just in the second quarter. And OKC is up 58-46 on the Stockton Kings. So they're definitely going to have to turn it around. And that transitions perfectly to a big talking point in today's game for sure. The reason why I'm sure the Stockton Kings are struggling a bit, as I see Jamias Ramsey has been called down from the NBA to go play for his Oklahoma City Blue in an incredibly big playoff game. The Kings have called up Colby Jones to the big squad and have given him big time minutes down the stretch here. It kind of gave me a little Alex Len vibes of last year, where, Alex Len didn't check in until around this time last year, to be honest, and then found himself in the rotation the rest of the season and played even 4 playoff games, I think, for the Kings. So who knows? Maybe Colby Jones has just kind of, we've seen the start of him entering the rotation. Looks like he got the nod over Chris Duarte today. So it'll be interesting to see if that continues. I definitely think Colby had a really, really good game. Definitely one of those where you had to watch the game with your own eyes to kind of get an appreciation fully for what Colby brought. Because you look at the stat, I haven't looked at the stat sheet, but if I remember correctly, it's not really like it's the super impressive. Let's see here. Colby Jones on the stat sheet showed, where am I not seeing him? 3 of 9, 1 of 6 from 3, 4 assists, 4 rebounds, 7 points. 2 blocks and 3 steals, which is really where I want to highlight. I mean, that really was the talking point when Keon Ellis was having his moment a couple weeks back. And that's a lot of what you saw from Colby Jones today, just incredibly active. And, it's okay that Keon's not putting up those kind of numbers every night. I think the important thing is that you see the Kings have multiple of these guys. It's not just, oh my gosh, like last year, Davion Mitchell was a godsend because he had any sense of ball pressure on the defensive side. Now you have Davion Mitchell, you have Keon Ellis, you have Colby Jones, you have De'Aaron Fox, who continues to make massive progress on the defensive end. He gets a steal tonight, which I think brings him within 3 games of tying Doug Christie's record for most consecutive games in Kings history with a steal. So, I think it's the fact that they now have multiple guys that are just doing a whole lot of scrappy stuff on the offense and defensive end. It's those glue guys that everybody always talks about. The Kings really haven't had a lot of those, and you're seeing just tons of them emerge now. I mean, Davion knocking down his threes. We've talked about it repeatedly over this season, but I think Katie said on the broadcast that in the past month and a half, Davion shooting 47% from 3. Tonight, he was 2 of 5, but I think he knocked down his first 2 of them. It's just great to see the Kings really have true 3 and D players, the thing that everybody in this league is looking for. And you see Keon Ellis emerging. You see Colby Jones potentially emerging. He was 1 of 6 from 3, but I think he can definitely hit it at a pretty good rate. He shot 38% in college his final season at Xavier, so I think it's a pretty legitimate 3-point shot that he's got. And then, Davion Mitchell as well. Those are 3 and D guys that you have, and then Keegan Murray, of course, as well. He was pretty cold tonight, but ultimately you see a lot of Keegan Murray going into his bag, not doing not doing just the spot up threes or living from the perimeter. Saw Keegan dip his shoulder a couple times. You saw him attack the rim, hit a Euro step in there. Definitely love to see Keegan show more than just shooting. So it was a really, really solid night all the way around. Nobody really stood up above the rest. I think it was a night of multiple contributors that led to a whole tonight. De'Aaron definitely had some moments, hit those threes in the third quarter where he just kind of posed for him, or might have been in the fourth quarter actually. And just looked like it was a comfortable win from start to finish. And that's not something that this team has had a lot of this year. It's just wall to wall, easy, no stress wins, and it's definitely coming at the right time, as this is really the Kings' last easy opponent until the Trailblazers, the last game of the season. This is the calm before the storm. It will be interesting to see how the rest of this week goes. Not really much else to say on a night like tonight, where the Kings just kind of handle business and don't really leave much doubt. Didn't really let anyone on the Brooklyn side kill him. Cam Johnson did what Cam Johnson does, just kind of chucked it up. Let's see here. Wow, Dennis Schroeder, 1 of 12, 0 of 6 from 3. Is that Trendon Watford? Yeah, Trendon Watford. Brick from 3. They had that one dude who, Jay Wilson, his shot was so broke. They just left him wide open. I feel like the Kings did a really good job on the scouting report, and it'll definitely be a good night. Like, this is definitely right on schedule for what the Kings needed right now. And like I said, it really is just kind of about the rest of this season, and tonight was just kind of a minor roadblock in the way of what ultimately is what's going to determine how this season goes. Tonight is just kind of eating your veggies and making sure you take care of business. Tuesday against OKC, you got to be fully ready to attack this thing like it's a playoff game. And Thursday and Friday, you just better make sure you get a lot of rest on Wednesday, because you cannot come out flat in either of those games. You have to bring your 120% in both of those games. It can't really be like either of those Dallas nights where the Kings just don't have a chance. They have to scratch and claw and fight for 48 minutes to get those two results, because those two games truly might end up being the most important two games of this season. Even though you drop those two Dallas games, you've kind of been handed this lucky opportunity at the end of the season to play the two teams that are directly in front of you in the standings, and you have a big opportunity to possibly leapfrog them when, to be honest, with how this season has gone, it just hasn't felt like they have quite earned that spot. But you know what? If they finish the season by beating OKC and then beating those two teams head to head, that's definitely enough for me to say that they have earned that sixth and final playoff spot. So excited to see how all of this plays out. Gonna do 3 stars of the night. Definitely, again, is kind of an interesting night to do it on, because no one really shined, but I thought there was a lot of contributors, which will actually lead me to probably go a little bit under the radar here. I'm going to go first star to Davion, though. I did mention how big he was. Even though he is coming off the bench, I think he has been the biggest. I don't know how I want to phrase it, but he is really eased the blow, I think, the most from Malik being out. Definitely Trey has played a huge role as well. He stepped up big coming back from that injury, but I feel like Davion scoring again and his 3-point shooting has really been the thing that's allowed this team, when Davion's knocking down the shot, when he scored in double figures, it feels like it just kind of allows the Kings to breathe a little bit easier when De'Aaron's not out there, and when Malik would kind of typically take over. Davion just kind of hitting those open looks. It might sound simple, but it's been really, really big. Him and Trey both were plus 30. Davion was a plus 36. Trey was a plus 37. And it felt like it. It felt like every time those two were on the floor, the Kings were the better team tonight. And definitely want to give praise to Davion. I'm going to give 2 stars to. Do I want to give it to? You know what? It's my post game. I'm going to give 2 stars to Domantas Sabonis. 18 points, 20 boards, 9 assists. Complete domination all night long. He had 2 blocks. Shout out Keegan, had 4 blocks tonight. Keegan's actually not going to make this list. Sabonis, 2 blocks tonight. He had a steal. It was really a pretty light work game for Sabonis. I didn't notice he missed a 3 tonight, and I looked it up earlier. Sabonis has been ice cold from beyond the arc here recently. He was shooting upwards of 40%, but he has not hit a 3 since March 23rd. So it's almost been 2-3 weeks. We're pushing on 3 weeks since Sabonis has hit a 3. He's 0 of his last 5-6 from 3. And he's just gone really, really cold here recently. So don't like to see that as the playoffs kind of inch closer and closer, because he's going to have to hit a perimeter jumper, as my light just turned off. Oh, that's great. Gonna need Sabonis to be hitting that perimeter jumper here down the stretch if the Kings are gonna stretch the floor without Malik Monk in the playoffs. We know Sabonis stretching the floor is huge for in the postseason after what happened last year. And then 3 stars, like I said, since it's my show, I'm doing Trey Lyles. I'm a huge Trey Lyles supporter. And again, I just think since coming back from injury, not enough has been talked about how he really hit the ground running from that, was it a knee injury, I believe, a sprained MCL. He really has hit the ground running, and this team really needed him. They really, really needed him after Malik went down, and I think he's been showing up every single night, and that's exactly what this team needs. So shout out Trey Lyles, he didn't miss. I think he made his first 5 or 6 shots. He finishes 6 of 8, 2 of 3 from 3. And the big thing every time Trey's out there, I don't think they did it tonight, but his ability to rebound definitely allows them to play small ball sometimes. And he finished with 10 boards tonight, 2 blocks, and a steal. Great game from Trey Lyles. Team high plus 37 at a Trey. So just an overall really good team performance. And again, really good to just kind of see these guys get an easy victory when they realistically should have gotten one. You can, as I get my plugs in here, you can obviously check me out tomorrow and the rest of this week, Monday through Friday, from 10 to 2 on Sactown Sports 1140 on Styles and Watkins. This week we will definitely have a lot to discuss as the end of the basketball season comes to a close. Every single day we'll be giving you updates on how this Kings situation is going. Definitely going to have a lot of conversations this week about Colby Jones and whether or not he's potentially going to be a member of this rotation down the stretch. And just a lot of talk about how this crazy West is shaping up. You could check me out on Tuesday after the game in Oklahoma City. I believe that's a 5 o'clock tip. So we'll probably be hopping on here around 7:30-ish. On Monday as well, Monday for the national championship game, if you're not doing anything, head on out to Fieldhouse American Sports Pub. It's on Fulton Avenue in Sacramento. Me and Alan Styles will be chilling, watching the game out there. You can come join us. I think we're obligated to be there from 5 to 7. I'm pretty sure we're going to get there a little bit earlier than that, and I'm pretty sure we're going to stay a little bit later than that. So come on out to Fieldhouse American Sports Pub tomorrow to watch the NCAA games. And yeah, I think that's all that I got. I believe the next Stockton game, if they do win tonight, you can check it out. It's on ESPNU right now. And if they do win, I believe that game 1 will be on Tuesday, and that's a best of 3 series. And I believe that game on Tuesday, if Stockton wins here today, would be in Stockton on Tuesday. So if you're not doing anything, definitely go check out Lindsey Harding's squad and go support them. Okay, that's going to be it for tonight. Hope you guys have a fantastic evening. I am going to go check out to see if that beam is lit during the daytime. I have a feeling that it's not. So for myself, for the Sacramento Kings, I think this is how people normally sign off. You guys have a fantastic night and light the freaking beam. Peace.